Good afternoon, everyone, or morning, depending, I guess, where you are. But I want to thank you, first of all, for attending our cybersecurity awareness for the end of 2025. We're just coming off of October, which is our cybersecurity awareness month worldwide. But wanted to try to put together some sessions here for everybody to be able to kind of get an understanding as to where things are at right now. Certainly give you some tips and tricks on what to look for, kind of expose some myths as well that some people may have with regards to cybersecurity. And in the sessions, we'll kind of touch on a lot of things that are going on currently, as recent as this week with things, and definitely try to give you the best ammunition I possibly can to go out there and battle against all the things that are going on in our world right now, unfortunately. So my name's Jeremy Wright. For those of you who don't know me, I am a IT consultant and a technical account manager with Attache Group. I'm what's classified as being a certified security evangelist, which essentially is just a really great term for somebody who just learns and does deep dives into all things cybersecurity. On that side, and then I hopefully can impart that knowledge on you guys as best as possible. So thank you again for attending today. If you need to get a hold of me, here's your ways of getting in touch. We will have a bit of a Q&A period at the end, although I do want to be respecting the timelines. So if you did have a question and I was unable to get to it today, I will definitely return it in an email to you and answer your question directly. Okay. And lastly, yes, this is being recorded and it will be sent out to everybody that has registered for the session. So this kind of is going to give you an idea as what we're going to be covering. We won't get to all of this today. So session 2, definitely join in for that. Have a fun little video on that one just to tease that one out a bit. And then session 3 as well. One thing I will tell you is that our CEO, Todd, has put up $100. If you make all the sessions, you have that much better of a chance because you will be entered into a draw, and your name will go in as many as 3 times to that draw to be able to win $100. So if you attend them all, you've got a better chance to win $100, which we could all use at this time of year, that's for sure. So today's threat landscape, how does that look? So a little bit of background. A decade ago, cyber threats were primarily viruses distributed by fame-seeking hackers. It wasn't to the nth degree that they're going now to, and the level of sophistications that they have now. If you look at how they sort of succeeded on some of their attacks over the years back then, it was pretty rudimentary compared to what they're actually doing nowadays. So just a little bit of a history on there on that side of things. And I want to kind of go into some of the little myths that are out there. Most of you are clients of ours, some of you are customers of ours, or possibly just friends and family that wanted to attend this. But there's a lot of myths in the workplace, especially when it comes to any kind of cybersecurity side of things. So we're only worried about external cyber threats. So not the case anymore, unfortunately. There's a lot of internal threats that can happen, whether it's somebody, an employee that's disgruntled, or somebody who maybe comes into your establishment and drops off some marketing material to you that you could plug in like a USB key or something along that line that you could plug into your computer, and they could send things out that way. So don't dismiss dangers from an outside to an internal side. Definitely want to make sure that you're being hyper vigilant on everything. Don't just take somebody's at their word that they're coming in to work on something. Ask for credentials. Make sure that you're seeing that, and we will touch in more depth on this later on. Myth number 2: my organization is too small to be a target. Not true. at all. Everybody and anybody is a target, even a one-man band or a one-person band. They are all targets. It's not about the information so much that they think that they can exploit from you. It's what you find valuable that they find valuable on their end. So the larger the companies, yes, it makes a big splash and it hits the news and makes everybody go, "Whoa, oh my gosh, what's going on?" But they've really shifted to this SMB space, largely in part to what we like to call the shoplifting mentality. So if you think about in the past, attacks were happening, they were big news, all those kind of things. Nowadays, if you think about what makes the news, does a shoplifter make the news? No. Is there shoplifting going on right now? Yes. Is there tons of it going on? Yes. Is it something that they can take small amounts but create a large income from? Yes. And that's the mentality that they've shifted to, certainly in the last couple of years, where they will hit lots of small places and get lots of small little amounts, considering, the amount that they may get. Just let's say if it was $250 they might get from somebody. But you do that 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 times over in a day or a week, you can now see where that money comes into play and how much they're actually making on that. And again, we'll touch more on that later on. So antivirus software is definitely something that helps. And certainly in the case of all our clients, we're using the managed detection and response from Sophos, which is a fully manned and operated security operations center. There's well over 500 SOC team there, as we refer to it. They are watching and monitoring everything that's going on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And again, we'll touch on a little bit more of that in a moment. But the multi-layered approach is the most successful approach. So making sure we have firewalls, encryption, multi-factor authentication, doing regular updates, make sure that we're doing regular employee and staff training on a constant basis, keeping it at the forefront all the time. So you're always thinking in terms of, should I just click on this or should I scrutinize it heavily? I love this picture when it comes to, things being hidden in plain sight. So you think about an iceberg, and what an iceberg looks like on the top isn't necessarily what an iceberg looks like on the bottom. So when you're looking at phishing scams, these are well trained, in a lot of cases, very sophisticated types of phishing that's going on now. We're seeing reports now, especially on home emails, where the unsubscribe button is the actual payload button. You'll click on that. It may not do anything in the moment, but you've released some sort of a payload, and they are probably more than likely just sitting in the background and watching and waiting and seeing where they can basically manipulate. So you might not see things happen immediately, but rest assured something is going on there. So they will always try to exploit your trust, urgency. They'll create urgency. There's a natural tendency for us to respond quickly to important messages. I highly recommend that you get into the practice of not checking emails first thing in the morning and not checking them late at night, especially when you're at home. If it's something that is sent in an email and somebody didn't call you right out to talk to you about it, chances are it could probably wait a little bit of time until you're fully focused or able to fully focus. So if you're a night owl and you're 100% wide awake and you're checking them, all of the power to you. But if you're tired, both in the morning and in the evenings, probably not a good idea, because you might miss something that you would ordinarily catch. Okay. And if you did happen to click on something, please let somebody know immediately. And that theme is going to come along here a lot as we continue on in this training. More tools mean better cybersecurity. Yes and no. Um, There are a lot of tools that we do deploy with our clients, especially. There's a lot of things out there that you can help, but not everything is the best thing to do. And in some cases, they can actually compete against each other. So, best thing to do is to sit down with somebody who is specialized in cybersecurity, and make sure that and first of all, that they're somebody you trust. But you make sure that you are putting the right tools in the right place, and not just going and throwing a whole bunch of stuff, a whole hodgepodge of tools that may overlap or even conflict with each other. Okay. Focus on building a cohesive security strategy that it basically will address your specific risks rather than everything. It doesn't work to throw all of it at the proverbial fan. I'm sure you all know where I'm going with that. So lockdown from the top down. In many organizations, there's a dangerous misconception that cybersecurity is something that only the IT team needs to worry about. But the truth is, your business must lock down from the top down, meaning that every single employee, from the CEO to the newest intern, plays a role in keeping your business safe from cybersecurity threats. When everyone in the organization is aware of cybersecurity best practices, so definitely set up SOPs, so standard operating procedures when it comes to this, the chances of a breach occurring diminish significantly. Empower your team with the knowledge and tools that they need to be cybersecurity champions. And the best thing you can possibly do is build a culture of, don't keep it secret. Let us know. Support each other. Everybody's human. They make mistakes. You have a moment of weakness. You're not maybe thinking clearly because of the tactics that they're using against you. That's okay. It's happened to many, many people before. It's not just on you. So the best thing you can do is make sure you take a deep breath, step away from the moment, and make sure that you let the proper people know what's going on. Okay. That's more important than anything. And always be talking about it. If you see an email that comes in that looks fishy, and that's a PHISHIE, let's go with the IE to take it seriously. You want to make sure that you are telling everybody about it. Did you see this email come through? Did you also have this come through? Have you seen this one? I heard about this one on the news. All these kind of conversations are great conversations to have, and keep it going. Keep it real, keep it honest. So never fly solo when it comes to IT. Make sure that you seek outside help, especially if you're working from home, or you are just doing some things at home. You're checking emails, maybe a text message came through on WhatsApp or even on your own, under your own number, or phone call comes in and you don't recognize the number. Talk to somebody about it. Make sure that they fully understand what's happening. Again, if somebody is trying to get your money, they are going to be creating that sense of urgency at all times. So even the most skilled in-house teams can benefit from expertise and insight from seasoned cybersecurity professionals. We go to courses constantly. We are always reading up on the latest attacks that are happening, looking and studying, reading information. There's a great reporter out there called Brian Krebs. If you go on to, I believe his website is Krebs on Security, you can read up on the tactics that they used and the level of sophistication and all the different types of attacks that are going on there. I would highly recommend that if you go and read some of that stuff, that you take a break and watch a sitcom or something along that line just to lighten your life, because it can get pretty dark pretty quickly. Avoid clouded judgment. A lot of people seem to think that just because my stuff is in, or sorry, a lot of people seem to think that because my things are in the cloud or any kind of files or anything like that, or even software, that it's safe. Cloud is a powerful tool. There's no question, and it offers a lot of flexibility, scalability, and convenience for sure. But like any tool, that we use or you're using, it can be used for just as much bad as it can for good. Okay. So just because your data is in the cloud doesn't mean that it's immune to attacks. If you read the fine print when it comes to Microsoft and Google, read their fine print, it will tell you that they are only responsible for keeping the infrastructures up and running. They are not responsible for data that has either been breached or deleted or anything like that. It's not up to them to worry about that kind of thing. So don't let a false sense of security on cloud. Basically, again, cloud your judgment. Implement robust security measures to protect your data in the cloud and on premise. So little things like, maybe getting, USB key from a reputable company, like ordering it through Staples or Best Buy or somewhere physically that when you go in that you can pick that piece up and you can open it up and you're fine. Okay. Go in, backup files that are extremely important, and then make sure you unplug that portable device from your computer and your network. Okay. Have a hard copy, throw it into a fireproof safe so that if it's that important, you have it on what we call redundancy, or duplication is another way to look at it. You make sure that you're duplicating these things and putting them in a separate spot. For our clients, we are doing things in the background that are backing up files. You probably have support like Datto maybe in your environment, those kind of things. Those are all there to help, again, to create that layer of saving things if you were ever breached. And we're always thinking catastrophically. If you were ever in a situation, we can make sure that we can retrieve those files for you and mitigate any kind of damage that was done. Okay. Lastly, and we will talk about this a lot when it comes to best practices, when it comes to passwords, but changing passwords is definitely a good thing. I know it's a pain. I know that we all tend to have a tendency to change it by one digit and then we keep going in that way. If it's been compromised in any way, shape, or form, they're going to check those kind of one digit kind of things. The best type of passwords that you can do nowadays are minimum 16 characters. And the best way to create one of those is create a passphrase. So not something that you posted recently on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or any of the other social medias that are out there that they are monitoring and watching and trying to find ways to exploit your situation. Make it something that's totally obscure and something that you can still obviously remember so you don't have to constantly replace it. Use special characters and numbers as a part of it as well. Stay away from making, like if you were going to do soccer is great, don't make the O a zero. That's too easy for them to figure out now, and the bots and level of sophistication with AI is able to figure those kind of things out. So put soccer as soccer, maybe have a capital in between somewhere, have different digits. Make sure that you use a phrase and it's minimum 16 characters. Um, Makes it extremely difficult and it prolongs that period from when they start trying to investigate and attack you to basically to a point where they will be giving up because they're going to go after somebody who's a softer target. Okay. And again, we'll talk more on that, but definitely that's just kind of touching on the surface. Cybersecurity is too expensive. Sure, yep, there's a cost to it. There's no question, but how expensive is it? There's lots of different types of calculators out there that can show you how much it costs for your business, and you put in how many employees you have, how much money you make in a day, roughly speaking, all these kind of things. You can put all those into that tool and it'll spit it back a calculator out to tell you how much it costs you to be down for a day, for an hour, for 4 hours, however long that is. It will also, you want to also factor in how much you're paying for the ransomware, if it was a ransomware attack, if it was, somebody stole gift cards from employees or were diverting funds for in an HR scam that we're seeing a lot of, where those funds are, you take all those costs into account and now you're continually adding up, right? And it's continuing to grow and grow and grow and grow as far as the amount that is costing you. So if you look at it from a standpoint that if we're being proactive and we're putting the right tools in place and making sure that we have the right strategies in place, it actually doesn't become as costly as you think it is. And it's more costly to have a breach and to have your reputation, for that matter, being broadcasted out there because your breach was detected by other organizations, and then it's publicized. So we want to try to do as much as we can to be cost conscious and making sure we're putting the right tools in place. But at the same time, we also need to appreciate that these things are put in place for a reason, and it's not because an attack might happen. It's when and how bad. Okay. All right. So a little bit of background here. Today, everyone is a target. That's the bottom line. They're a target through mass attacks. Is information is more valuable on the dark web, like your credentials, your banking information, your personal information, your phone number, is it active, is it inactive? Text messages, did you reply to that WhatsApp message where somebody said, hey, how's it going, and you didn't recognize it? All those things are valuable. The biggest shifts, though, is in the black market services. These are actual services. They're doing ransomware as a service. So that's what RAAS stands for. So you think about software as a service like Microsoft 365 or Google Suite or all the millions of different types of software that you're paying monthly for, different platforms like viewing platforms like Prime or Disney or all the rest of them. So you think about that, and that's exactly what they have going on in this trillion-dollar industry that is the black market industry. So ransomware as a service is on the rise. So they will pay monthly to have all these different codes and abilities to be able to compromise you and your loved ones and your business. Initial access brokers. So these are people that they can actually go in and they'll broker a solution for them to be able to take over a business's network or their files or find different ways to infiltrate or have them do social engineering. All those things are things that they can do. And then affiliate perpetrator. So you can actually just go and hire somebody to go and do it for you. And then they'll pay you a percentage out of whatever it is that they get. They have spiffs going on. For those of you who know about the sales world, spiff being that they will have incentives. So if you share your best hack or your best success stories and you share them for that month, the best one is picked out of a hat and they will give you a bonus for what you did. There's all sorts of things going on. They have customer service. They have guys there to help support you. Like anything that you can think of that they have in a regular organization that runs a business legitimately every single day, they're doing the exact same thing in the background in this world as well. Kind of scary. And, it's again, another reason why we're trying to do everything we can. So how bad is it? These are things that we're seeing right now that are being reported. So these are different. I won't list them all off just in the interest of time, but you can see some of the different types of attacks that have gone on in 2025. You've had critical infrastructure attacks. You've had healthcare ransomware surge. This is massive. We heard all sorts of things that went on last year with regards to Southwestern Ontario and some of the attacks that are going on there. There's even more attacks that aren't even brought up. Ones that were thankfully thwarted, but they are still going on and they don't stop. There's not like once you stop them once, it doesn't mean that they're going to just give up forever and walk away and move away from a whole thing that they're solely there to make money on. They're going to continue. So yes, 25% increase in attacks on Canadian hospitals, causing surgery delays, emergency diversions. There are other things that are going on there too, like your records being shown, being broadcasted out. How great information is that for somebody to be able to use against you personally? Once they figure out who you are on Facebook, and then they figure out, oh, I've got my Facebook, my birthday's coming up soon, and oh, look at that, you are turning 50 this year because your birth date and your birth year are all publicized on there. And then they go on and they can start looking at more information. They can look at people that you know, and they can start, using that as a way to sound totally valid when they're talking to you and totally informed on your life. And, oh, do you remember me? I'm so and so that you went to school with back in, you know, whatever year it was that you went to high school in. So these are all things that they are looking. So the less information you can put up there, if your birth date is up there, your full birth date, get it off. Change it. You know, make it a day later, a day early, or a week early, or whatever. Like, it's not really that big of a deal. You can still celebrate your birthday with your loved ones who know you, and you can still love all the messages that people are going to send you, just maybe not on the exact day of your birthday. So those are things that you could do to help protect yourself. But data breaches, Toys R Us, oh my gosh, poor Toys R Us. Customer names, addresses, emails leaked on the dark web. No payment data was exposed to our knowledge at this point. But certainly, you know, these things are breached. Giant Tiger was another one in the last couple of years that had a major breach. So all these things are going on daily. They don't just stop. And it's good to make sure that you're aware of all that. Uh, Canada saw over 12 billion attacks in early 2025, fueled by crime as a service, as we mentioned with the ransomware side of things, and definitely AI-driven threats. Police reported cybercrime nearly doubled from 41,275 instances in 2023 to a projected 82,324 in 2024. Ransomware remains the most significant danger to crucial infrastructure following a chain of phishing exploit to malware execution, persistence, credential theft, lateral movement. So, in other words, going from computer to computer to computer, data exfiltration. So, they're taking all your data and moving it out into the cloud, into the dark web, encryption, and then, ultimately another ransomware demand. So, all these things are going on in the background, even though you may not realize it. So, you clicked on a link and it doesn't look like anything happened, but all the malware execution is happening. The credential theft may have already happened in that moment. The lateral movement, so the fact that it's instantaneously, once that's been clicked, it's instantaneously going out and searching everything on that network so we can map it all out. So they know exactly what your location is, what city you're in, who you are, all the different attached devices that are in that area. And keep in mind, I'm not just talking about the workplace, I'm also talking about your home place as well. Okay. They'll then, once they've got all the data that they want, and they'll exfiltrate all that data out of your environment or copy it, do all the things that they want to do that way, then they'll encrypt it. Okay, so they'll do all this stuff before you've even seen that your files are encrypted. Then once they're encrypted, then the ransomware demand comes out. Okay, so that's kind of a little bit on how it all works and what is going on. Sextortion, unfortunately, is something that's becoming even more rampant right now. And please have those tough conversations with your kids. Let them know, it's okay if they did send somebody out there, support them, love them, and try to make sure that you get to the bottom of what's going on. Block the numbers where they're being extorted. And make sure that you keep blocking any numbers. And I promise you, they will stop eventually. And then seek professional help for sure when it comes to those kind of things. Scattered Spider. This is a group that you may or may not have heard about. Certainly in the last couple of years, they've been making themselves extremely well known. These guys are unbelievable at social engineering, figuring out different ways to be able to exploit, for instance, the bots with legitimate organization and companies like Apple or Microsoft or Google support, Amazon support, Samsung support. What they were doing was manipulating the actual bot after they've, know that you have an iPhone, for instance. They'll call you and let you know, hey, we're seeing some unusual stuff going on here with yours, and then they use the Apple support bot to actually send you the legitimate information over to your phone. But what they're doing on their end is chatting with Apple support on your behalf and not with your totally unbeknownst to you. So there's extremely good detailed information. I won't go into the whole attack and how it all works, but that's the level of sophistication that these guys are going. Now, a lot of them have been caught because of the fact that they made some big splashes and hit some pretty major corporations, including MGM Grand in Caesar's Palace. They tag them with a lot of different events. When you hit companies that have a lot of money and a lot of pull that way, then guess what happens? You're going to have people pushing back and they're going to start catching them. This is a North American and UK based organization, but they're still around. They've got different cells and they're still trying to do everything they can. They wiped one gentleman out, individual, of millions in Bitcoin, which he had all for his kids' education and, of course, his retirement as well. So be hyper vigilant. If somebody contacts you or reaches out to you and you're not sure about what's going on, there's nothing to say. You can't hang up on them and call the number you trust. Don't always call the first number that you Google because sometimes these guys do go and when they are putting a campaign together, they'll go and buy on Google, they'll actually pay for their sponsored number to go up there and say that it is that type of support and it's legitimate. Make sure that you scroll down a little bit. Don't go by the sponsored events. Go by the numbers that you know are actually legit. If it's a credit card situation where they've called you and your major credit card is supposedly compromised, call the number on the back of your card. Please do not respond or press 1 or 2 or any of the options that they offer on there. Just call directly. If you want to go into your bank account online, if you're comfortable with doing that, definitely do that. And if your parents are the ones that are being compromised or elderly are being compromised, please, go directly into the bank and have them do it for you there. That's where they're going to feel most comfortable and know that they're not talking to somebody that is, maliciously intended. Okay. These are just another slide on some of the different trends and what we're seeing going on. We've kind of talked about this a little bit today, but certainly ransomware, data theft, crime as a service is on the rise right now, dual use tools. So making sure that you're leveraging the proper multi-factor authentications, not giving them out when if somebody asks for that particular digit, they are up to no good. Don't ever give it to anybody. That is for you and you alone to use and not for somebody to exploit you with. Social engineering. They're pushing social engineering right now to the extreme boundaries. If you get a new job, so since we're more in the work environment right now, if you get a new job or a new position with your company, please don't post it right away. Post it later on. That way you'll know, hey, this is probably not a legit support that's going on and somebody trying to do that. If you're new to a company, what we're seeing happening a lot, especially on companies that are a little bit larger and not everybody knows everybody, we're seeing HR scams where they're trying to redivert your banking information and have it go to their banking information. So that is one that we are seeing a lot of. So if you're in HR, I'm sorry, you're going to get bombarded with this as things continue. But just make sure that you're being hyper vigilant and reaching out to that person directly. Pick up the phone. Please do not reply back in an email. If they ask you, especially if they ask you to text them, nobody is going to ask you to text them when it comes to something that important, nor should you ever ask for those kind of things, please. Mobile malware. Now that we've got more devices, you think about how many mobile devices we have in homes now. It's incredible how many mobile devices we have in IoT, Internet of Things. We have so many connected devices at home and in our world now. And that's why they're potential threats, right? And we want to make sure that we're always using best practices when it comes to that. Again, scrutinize everything that comes through. Make sure that you're sharing that information with your family. Hey, I had this happen, or I had this call come in. Make sure your kids are aware that, if they're on Discord, for instance, if they're gamers, making sure that you're monitoring that kind of chat back and forth, that if they start pulling away, and not wanting you to see chats that they're doing on gaming, or they're whispering when they're gaming and things, those are all signs that you need to have a deeper, more troubling conversation with your children, because they are probably at risk in whatever they're doing in that moment. So the size and scale of cybercrime, when you look at all the different types of attacks that are going on, and they're going to continue to evolve, certainly with AI, 2023, it released $8 trillion in cybercrime revenue. In 2025, we're projected and forecasted that it's going to be at 10.5 trillion. In 2027, and I actually believe that this is actually probably on the lighter side, they're saying that it's going to be 24 trillion. So this is why we need to make sure that we're doing everything we can, why it's not an expensive thing to protect yourselves, why we need to keep conversations going, why we need to make sure that our loved ones are safe at all times. It's because of how quickly this is growing. All the different types of devices. So I mentioned about IoT devices. So 54%, it's on the rise now, 54% over what it was 2 years ago. 43% on wearables, 39% on self-driving cars. Think about this for a second. How much of a push is being put on, especially this year? We're noticing that they're being put on, let's have autonomous cars. Think about driving down the 401 and you're hurtling down 401 at 120 kilometers an hour, and somebody does compromise your vehicle. How quick are you going to be to pay so that you can stop safely? I would say everybody in here would probably think about that more than once. So these are things, and it's not necessarily to scare you that that's going to happen. It's just, do we really want to move into those kind of things so quickly, right? 37% of medical devices. Again, think about life-saving devices that people may have, like an insulin pump, or a device that's attached to their heart and monitoring and so on and so forth. Again, if they're being compromised in a moment, how likely are you to pay that ransom, or however they're asking for that money? Probably pretty likely. So these are all things that are actually happening right now, and we predict that they're going to increase tenfold year over year. So making sure, again, upping the security at home, not just taking default passwords, making sure you're changing the passwords for devices. When you are at home, maybe have a VPN. Then that's a virtual private network. There's lots of services out there that you can utilize for things like that. Just using different tactics to make you guys as difficult of a target as possible is all that we're suggesting. We don't want you to go bankrupt, certainly from, a standpoint of paying for things that you can't afford to pay for. We 100% want to make sure that you're just doing simple little things that you can do along the way that can keep you as safe as possible, whether it's in the workplace or at home. So again, just kind of touching on this, in 2025, again, 12 billion cybersecurity attacks in early 2025. And that's across Canada. And that doesn't mean necessarily that they were successful. We saw the numbers earlier on in the 80,000 mark. But that's how many attempts that there have been in our world, in just our country alone. Ransomware continues to be the top infrastructure threat, endangering critical Canadian systems and data. IoT, so Internet of Things, so all the little devices that you have that are connected to the internet, your thermostats, all those kind of things. 82% of IoT security incidences were caused by misconfigurations, exposing millions of devices to attacks. So the company, maybe Ecobee, for instance, is one that I have. Ecobee, is constantly putting out updates. Make sure that you go in and check your apps and make sure you're fully updated on all those, because those are potential security threats that have happened, that they've fixed those breaches so that you're as safe as possible. So go in, I go in and check my updates on my phone, on different devices, on my computers and so on, are being handled by Attache Group. But for my own personal devices, I go in and check those on the daily and make sure that they're fully up to date. Okay. You miss a day, you miss a day. But at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you're going in and doing that as much as possible to keep yourselves and your family and everybody in your work environment as safe as possible. So the rise on device attacks, again, these are attacks that are happening in Canada. I'm not talking about they're happening all over the world, but this is just strictly Canada. So devices on the rise, mobile devices right now in Canada are up 27% over last year. Medical devices are up 19%. Wearables like your watches, we've now got rings and so on. Workstations are up 41%. They're basically just attacking the vulnerabilities to steal data or disrupt operations. Like if you can hit somebody with an attack that's going to put down their website. If you're e-commerce, you've got e-commerce going on, and your website is being hit with a DOS attack, DDoS attack, it's virtually rendered useless for a while until you can stop that attack from happening. So just strengthening cybersecurity right across all devices. Make sure you're always doing your updates on your personal devices, especially. Make sure you're doing those, and just overall, looking at cybersecurity from a different lens. There's a reason, if you think about insurance companies, and for those of you that are on here that are business owners, or maybe you're on the finance side of things, you'll know that insurance has gone up for cybersecurity insurance, and their regulations as far as what they're looking for and your compliance levels are all changing, and they're going to continue to change. It used to be in the past with anything when it came to cybersecurity insurance. First, it was just, use the analogy of a car. Do you have a car? Yep, I have a car. Okay, you're insured. So do you have a business? Yep, you're insured. Do you have wheels on that car? Yep, okay, no problem. Now they want to know, do you have snow tires on your vehicle? Do you have bubble wrap around that car? Are you constantly making sure that that car is, and is always going to be in a safe working environment? So speaking obviously about your work environment, you want to make sure that you're doing all the things that you need to be doing. And if you look at how we have everything set up as a company with you as our client and our partner, we are making sure that we're not just meeting the minimum standard of that, we are going above and beyond that and making sure that we're doing everything we possibly can to keep you guys as safe as possible. And again, to mitigate if there was any kind of mitigate in English, if there was any kind of actual hit against you. So these are some real type things that we're seeing, of course, going on in our world right now. Fake gift cards. I promise you, the owner of your company is not going to just suddenly out of the blue say, "Hey, can you send me some gift cards because I need to do something from a sales standpoint." Wire transfer funds, they're spoofing emails to make it look like it's coming from individuals that work within your company. Pick up the phone, spend a couple moments, make sure that you're double checking that information, and definitely don't ever send that kind of information via email. Go directly to the person, hand it to them, so that you're not sending an email, because if an email was compromised, now all your banking information is compromised as well. So hard copy, send it over. Send them over a PDF, have them fill it out, keep it in secure files, keep it locked down as much as possible. We talked about scatter the sophisticated. I can't stress this enough. The level of sophistication that they're now doing when it comes to social engineering is truly remarkable. And I don't mean that in a good way for us. They are getting as much information as they possibly can. And it may not be your company they've compromised. Maybe it's another company, or say it's a professional company that you deal with, like an accountant. And they all of a sudden out of the blue send you an invoice. And that invoice, it could be $5,000 for something, right? And maybe you're just in the habit of just going ahead and paying for that. Maybe you have an accounting firm that handles all your accounting, and all of a sudden they send you a request to send more money for something. Again, pick up the phone, make sure you're talking to them, and making sure that it's all legit. Emails. We all deal with those every single day. So this is an email that came through to me. You can see the date on it. Uh, Need your assistance right now. So urgency, right? Creating a sense of urgency that is not my boss's way of doing with anything. They made a very poor attempt on our signature. But they did put in both the Attache and on-site services because we did merge and we had been merged at that point. Um, Todd does not sign off on his messages this way in any way, shape, or form. Plus, he would never ask for me to send anything through WhatsApp. So those are all red flags, but this is a legit email that came out and they are still recycling through. So you'll see them come out for a little while, then they won't. Then they'll try to do it again and they'll try to catch you off guard. Okay. They're getting more sophisticated when it comes to these things too. You look at this one, so supposedly this came from me, but look at the email. The email address is not even close to being what my email address is, right? So nice thing is that we have tools in place now that says right away, hey, this is coming from somebody that you don't often get email from, and it's showing the actual email. Please do not become desensitized to these types of alerts. Okay. Whenever you see an alert that shows up saying, hey, you might want to look at this, you might want to look at it. Okay. So common scams that we're seeing in the business world when it comes to this is email spoofing. Malware bots are definitely on the rise. It's so easy for them to just mass email constantly at every single email address that it could possibly find. That's all it is in the background. I don't care how convenient it is that you literally just did banking with, let's say it's BMO. You did banking with BMO and you just received an email from BMO saying that your bank account was, or you did an order, was compromised. Sorry, you did an order with Amazon. Millions of people do orders with Amazon every single day. And that's why they put these types of emails out in order to try and catch you off guard. Okay. You didn't order an Apple iPhone. I guarantee you, you didn't order an Apple iPhone. So don't worry about it. You can go in, log into your account, not via the link that they give you, but go into amazon.ca, check your orders, and it'll show you if something was ordered incorrectly. You can check your bank card statements. Again, using a legitimate portal that you know, whether it's on your phone, on the computer, a legitimate order, a portal that you can go through. Phishing attempts. Scammers impersonate executives all the time. They are trying to sound as legitimate as possible. They might even welcome you to their company. It's not them. Okay. Look at the email, look at what they're asking from you, look at what they're looking for beyond just saying congratulations. Maybe they said congratulations the first time, and then the second time they're going to use that same email that they spoofed to then ask you for something. Okay. Make sure you double check the emails, block them. If you're a client of ours, please, if you've got an email that you're not sure about, and I'm not talking about like spam emails that come out every single day. If you're getting all these different emails that come out to you that are, supposed advertisements and all that kind of stuff, just delete them. It's fine. Block, delete, block, delete. Do whatever you need to do on that side. The emails that we want emailed to our team are ones that you think you need to open or you need to have looked at for their legitimacy. Okay. If it's a PDF that's attached to it and you're not sure if you should open it or not, but it may be legitimate, send it to our team. Our team will look at it. They'll make sure that it is either legit, in which case they'll send it back to you and let you know that it's okay and safe to open, or they'll let you know that it's illegitimate and there was definitely a malicious payload that was sitting in the background. And thank you for keeping everybody safe, including us. Okay. You think about if you're a manufacturing business, this is one that happened several years ago, but is always resurfacing, is these product shipment requests to send them out to a supposed company. We want to purchase a whole bunch of stuff from you. They then purchase fictitiously. They send you a fictitious PO, maybe a check or, a fictitious payment that's, supposedly going to take several days over. And then they'll turn around and they'll ask for another order right away before they've actually done that. Okay, or before it's been processed, and now you're out over 15K or 50K in the case of what this particular scam was. Okay, so always check email addresses. If somebody's asking you for a cell phone or sending you a cell phone number and they're asking you to go through that, other channels other than what your normal standard operating procedures are, definitely scrutinize that to the high heavens. Okay. Key takeaways. This is your checklist. Okay. Please take a mental note, take physical note, whatever you want. Contact your IT support immediately if you suspect any kind of compromise. Doesn't matter how little, how big, just have us check. More than likely, because of the level of sophistication that we're using with our managed detection and response in the background, it's going to be detected, but don't ever think that. Just err on the side of caution. If you clicked on something, nothing happened, or something did happen, and the Sophos team didn't reach out to you within minutes of something like that happening, definitely reach out to our team just to verify. Run a security scan. So if you did it at home and you've got, hopefully all have antivirus at home, run a security scan on everything and then take your device into somebody that you trust to have them take a look at it and screen it. There's also things that you can do. You can reach out to us and we can put you in touch with the Sophos team. There is a scanning that they do offer through their websites that you can do on all personal devices as well. Okay. Change your passwords, run antivirus, don't click on suspicious links or download unexpected attachments. Are easily said than done, but we got to say it anyway. Understanding AI and establishing effective use policies. So we all know what artificial intelligence is. We all have seen the movies, probably some more than others. We all understand that there's some tremendous things, tools that we have at our disposal that are fantastic to work with. But just keep in mind that for every good intention or intentional software that is out there or use case, whether it's ChatGPT, Copilot, and there's many others there out there, Gemini, so on and so forth. There's just as many in the background that are working against you, right? So we need to be hyper vigilant. How does that look? No, first of all, use legitimate ones. Don't give too much information. So understand the differences between what a large learning model is and what a self-contained model is and what information you're offering to, for instance, ChatGPT. What are you giving them? Are you giving them information that's personal information? Are you giving them information that could crush your business? All those things, don't give it out, please. It's learning from everything that you give it. When you're using something like Copilot, it's only in the moment that it's giving you the information. If it needs to research it, outsource through the web or anything like that, it will do that, but then it's not retaining that information. Chat GPT retains everything. Google Gemini retains everything. So it can learn from what it is that you're doing. Is that good? Yeah, a little bit. Is it bad? Yeah, kind of. So you want to make sure that you're scrutinizing what you're putting in there. And don't always take it for fact, right? If you're going on Google and you're looking things up, yes, they can be useful tools to be able to look things up, but don't always take that for fact. Look at where it's getting the information from. Check to make sure that that's a legitimate source. Check multiple sources. So when you are checking it on Google search or Explorer or however you're doing it on Bing or anything like that, make sure that you're checking those things and scrutinizing it as well so that you're not just taking it at face value. AI-driven cybercrime threats. So this is the biggest thing that we're seeing now is they're voice cloning, they're cloning your image, they're using those. Look for inconsistencies in speech patterns, in the way that the video is operating, the smoothness of it, how like does the person really look like that? those are all things that you want to make sure that you're scrutinizing as much as possible. Understand all the things that are going on in AI in our world right now. Data security measures that are being put into place. Have these conversations with your provider, have the conversations with your team, make sure that you're all on the same page, post it, put it out there, put it on, on everybody's computer. These are all the things that you're allowed to do. Make sure that you're talking about the types of tools that you are allowing to be used in your world when it comes to AI, okay? At home and beyond, okay? We're up against it as far as the time goes. I'm gonna call it there. The one thing that I would like to just kind of give you guys just some quick overview on email, just really, really quickly. This is an absolute oh, we've all just gotten alerts. This is a template that is being used. This is one that is out there that they can take and they can manipulate and make it look as legitimate as possible. Okay, and it's one that's being used today. So know that, again, know the signs. Don't just take things because it looks legit. Don't take it that it is legit. Okay. Start by paying close attention to the emails. Okay. Are they using zeros in the email as opposed to an actual O? Don't be fooled by urgent requests. If anybody wants anything, make sure you pick up the phone and talk to them, especially if it's a boss asking you for credit card information or for you to go out and purchase Bitcoin or any kind of cards, gift cards or anything like that. Okay. If texting is involved, pay close attention to the area code of the carrier. If you block them, if we're dealing with sextortion, for instance, if you block them once, they're probably going to text you back from the area code that they're actually from and not a spoofed one. So that's a great way to know for sure that that's, somebody illegitimate, and block it, block it, block it, block it, and make sure you get in touch with the proper authorities. Be suspicious of any email change request that's coming in. Certainly from friends and family too, that goes at home. Okay. This is the kind of things that are going on in the background. So Sophos will block any kind of harmful websites or anything that's going on. If you think that you're being blocked from a website that you shouldn't be, again, reach out to our team, let them know. They can look into it for you and make the proper changes if need be. Okay. And when in doubt, check it out. That's, the best rhyme that I got for today as far as that goes. Phone calls on the rise. We're seeing them constantly right now. You want to make sure that you are just hanging up. Okay. Just hang up. If you want to play with them and have some fun with them and waste their time, that's great. You can, for scripting, go on YouTube. You can see there's all sorts of scam baiters that are out there that are working on our behalf to try to stop all these guys. Definitely you can go on there, watch their videos so you hear what the scripting sounds like and you hear what they're actually doing. Smishing or texting scams are becoming more and more popular as the days go on. This is a good example of what we've seen, of course, out there. You may have seen that. I promise you, if somebody wants to send you money, you're going to know about it. And the best thing you can possibly do when it comes to money is set up your account to automatically deposit. If scammer wants to send you 250 bucks, by all means, let him send you 250 bucks. Okay. Voice cloning. This is on the rise. Okay. Definitely. This is one thing that I would, if you could walk away today with one thing, develop a verbal password for friends and family and mispronounce it. Don't just make it an easy one, right? Mispronounce it so that your family will know that it's you legitimately. Okay. And obviously don't post that on Facebook. This thing is happening with the elderly where they're putting more and more, they're sounding like you on the phone. And an article here that I pulled up is one that was just happened and reported on this week in Drumheller, but this is happening all over the world where they're cloning a voice, they're making it sound like a loved one, and they're attacking the elderly, and they're telling them that something's happened, whether it was an accident or you're in jail for drunk driving or drug or whatever the type of scam that they've got in the moment. It sounds legitimately like you, but they will not know your passphrase. Okay? They will not know what password you've given to your family so that your family knows it's you. Okay? So please, take some of that stuff for what it is. This is just sort of a little bit of a recap on everything, which I'll leave up here in closing. If you have any questions, please let me know. You've got my email address, which is jwright@attachegroup.com. So that's JWRIGHT @attachegroup.com. And definitely reach out. I'll be more than happy to answer any kind of questions that came out of this. And look forward to seeing you guys at the next session. Thanks so much for attending, and we'll talk to you soon, and stay safe.